Welcome to the Alco Uniforms It Pays to Keep Clean podcast. Join us as we spend time with regional managers and national sales managers to discuss their team's growth journeys. In this podcast, we'll talk about sales and service collaboration, celebrate customer retention wins, and highlight stories of service excellence. I'm your host, Dana Craig. Let's get started. Hi, Dave Carman. How are you?
Hello, Dana. I'm great. How are you?
National Sales Manager Extraordinaire, joining us for a few minutes of conversation.
I do like the extraordinaire part.
Well, we're going to make you live up to it, too.
No, good.
So just to kind of in the interest of getting to know you a bit, I know National Sales Manager isn't the first role or position that you've had at Alco. So take us a little bit through your Alco journey.
Well, I was hired in Indianapolis in 2008 as a route relief driver.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Interesting.
Yeah. And I did that for 3 months, and then I was on a route for 3 months. I won a direct sale jacket contest, so they gave me an opportunity to become a long deceased position, ASC.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I was an ASC for a year, and then I was an SC for 2 years in Louisville, Kentucky. And then in 2012, I became an RSM.
Okay.
And I was an RSM in Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, St. Louis, sometimes Tennessee. And in 2019, I became national sales manager.
Okay. So you've seen a ton of growth through the sales organization then through that period of time.
Yes.
And now here you are. So what region or area do you cover now? It's quite extensive.
So I cover now every state that we service that touches the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
Everything from Rochester, New York to Miami, Florida.
Okay. So that's a pretty broad area there. And what has your team or your region's growth journey looked like thus far?
I would say expansion.
Mm-hmm.
I had a much larger area 2 years ago geographically with only 76 SCs through my RSMs. Now with just the Eastern Seaboard, we have 90 alone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with that. So through the expansion of SCs means expansion of RSMs,
that's right.
Which means growth expansion.
How many RSMs do you have now?
8.
8. Okay. All right. And I'm imagining both of those numbers, SCs and RSMs, will be growing over the next.
Yeah. Over the next 2 quarters,
Sure.
over the next 3 years.
Right.
And I've really focused on trying to develop that expansion through major markets and needs through the RSMs and also through the branch, trying to collaborate with them, the regional managers, on where the needs are, not only people-wise, but product and industry-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
And filling out dense markets versus ones that are a little bit more expansive, you might need either more people or fewer people, depending on what that looks like.
That's true, because with every Washington, D.C., Orlando, Miami that I have, I also have Roanoke and Virginia Beach and Raleigh, Durham, stuff like
where
that.
the distances can be
Yeah.
quite a bit different. So most of your interactions then are with regional managers, your regional sales managers. How are you partnering in order to get things moving?
I think one thing with the regional managers that we are developing, I actually have the 2 brand new regional managers.
Yeah,
I have Tim Jones and Harlan Norris, and we've become a real sounding board for one another, because just because they're new to Alco doesn't mean the growth initiative isn't new to me. Right? So we're able to really develop that together. And it could be the most casual interaction ever, or very pointed. We need to do X, Y, and Z to get to A, B, and C. As for the regional sales managers, that's an every minute thing.
Right. They're probably calling you right now and wondering
from
where
the
you
other
are.
room.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right. We have scheduled one-on-ones and group calls, but there are pop-ups constantly, mainly because SCs have pop-up constantly, and everything works its way up.
Yeah. So do you have some great stories of sales and operations or sales and service collaboration that have happened over the last 6 or 8 months?
Yeah, I'd have to go with our largest account, which is Hershey. Yeah, and when I say that everyone had to contribute to this, it was feeder folder to SC to route driver to district manager to service manager. the general manager and the regional manager were very pivotal in getting everything going with what we needed to serve, really develop this vision that the John Kirkner, my RSM, and his SC, Gary Campbell, developed, right? So they had to make it come to life. And when we're talking about $55,000 a week, 100,000 pounds of COG linen being dropped off to a distributor to be distributed through 4 routes, it's more of an acquisition than it is a sale.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know,
there's a lot of uniqueness to it. It's like, from the linen side, are we washing and serving? Yes, we're still doing the linen, but the real, nuts and bolts of it were particular.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we've purchased smaller companies than
right.
that, much smaller.
Right. Yeah, good point.
So getting that in a sale is a huge win.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a vision that was easily seen by everyone initially. And that's where the collaboration came in. Where sales explains it, we activate it, we all execute it, and then you get the true result of it.
Right. Well, and hopefully that allows us to, it ignites our creativity in a way that we can imagine ourselves into some future business like that, or slightly different from that, but adjacent. Hershey adjacent.
Hershey adjacent. I like it. I do believe Tom and Kelly give us a great platform to do that, to get creative. They're really in the mindset of whatever it takes to grow,
right,
and grow at a really expedited rate. So when we have that creativity, I think that's what salespeople do best, is get creative.
Yeah. Yes, I think everyone would agree to that. Right. This was to good effect. So in terms of best practices that we're seeing either at growth meetings or through collaboration, what are some of the best practices that you'd like to see infiltrated a little bit more in your RSMs and SCs?
I would really like them to really drive growth meetings, but to partner in that journey with the GM, not one or the other taking over the whole thing.
Right.
Right. Yeah. If they're truly in sync, those are my most well-producing SCs. It's probably a very profitable branch. But if they're in true collaboration on those growth meetings, to where the SCs and the service people are talking about new business and lost business,
yep,
you'll get that real collaboration. And I would like to see us take the seed that we've put there with this growth meetings over the last 6 months and really let it grow to where, not necessarily a longer meeting, but more in depth, more communicative. And when I say communication, it's easy to say that communication is key. Positive communication is key.
Right. And real engagement. I think there's a little bit of a difference.
That's right.
I know in these growth meetings, we do have a lot of people involved in them, which is necessary, but also then it needs to be orchestrated in a particular way. So if everybody's just kind of waiting for their turn, that's different than real engagement and interaction that gets you to a pretty fabulous result.
Yeah. If you're waiting to speak, you're not listening to much, right? So if you can hear it and bounce off of each other and really riff off of what's happening at the time in the growth meeting, or in any other environment where the general manager is at a closing sales call, or the RSR is installing an account, you really bounce off of each other. You really become partners.
Yeah. So to kind of finish up, how are we tackling the back half of the year? We've got 5 or 6 months left at this point. A lot of challenging goals ahead of us. Of course, it'll provide a great platform, springboard, hopefully, to launch us into 2025. How's your team preparing for that?
In 2 different fashions. One thing is making sure that all of the new people that we brought on this year are really, really going, right? And not struggling to do anything that they need to do, because I find it very difficult to bring on and expand more people if you have people that still need every drop of your time.
Right.
So bringing on the new people, you have to make sure that your house is in order.
Right. You have to pace yourself and
That's right.
know what readiness looks like.
But the next 100 days are super important.
Yeah,
and it's important on both those fronts. Your veterans, your role players, as I call them, they're at quota, they're doing everything they need to. Your brand new people, and then of course the hiring of new people.
Right.
It's a balancing act, but that's what we're really focused on right now.
Well, that all sounds exciting. I look forward to hearing not only great stories about the 100 days, but leading us into 2025 too. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dana. I appreciate being here.
Thanks.
That's all for today's episode of the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of Alco uniforms, where we explore the growth and challenges in our industry. Tune in next time for more industry insights, growth strategies, and tales from the field. If you've enjoyed our time together, please leave us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you want to learn more about our services, visit us at alco.com. From all of us here at the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast at Alco Uniforms, thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you in the next episode.